Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Mañana morning check-in. I'm up, just jamming out, good old time. And I hope that you are having a great Thursday. Let me turn down the music for you guys a little bit. I know that my and man, really just enjoying the morning. I decided to sleep in today, which was nice, and really just wanted to get my thoughts together after this 2 day sales training that I was invited to, which was an absolute blessing. It was part of the Dan Martell SaaS Academy, and so if you're not currently following or looking at content from Dan Martell, Martell, I believe. Look him up on LinkedIn, Facebook, see the kind of things that he is doing. Very accomplished gentleman in helping people with their software as a service businesses ramp up. And what's interesting is, I'm looking at him doing this intensive on software as a service. And as he's talking and as he's training, I'm realizing, yeah, he could be training anybody, right? But he's chosen that niche, right? Remember the saying, the riches are in the niches. And so he is focused on that niche and he's training that niche. He could have said, hey, we're doing business sales training and open it up to the whole world. And instead, he had a focus group of 130 plus people focused on that niche. Just like, when I'm focused on doing the Power Sports Academy, I'm focused on helping power sports dealerships increase their parts and labor sales, increase customer satisfaction, and reduce employee turnover, which increases profits, right? I'm very focused on that. And so that type of focus is something that really lends itself to that profitability, right? To that targeting in on that market. And I think Dan did a really good job of that in the program. Now, the program itself was awesome. We just had a debrief. The group that I attended with, we just had a debrief Zoom meeting, and here's kind of what I think is really, really interesting. So there's 4 of us on our team, and we're talking about, well, what were your main takeaways? What were your main takeaways? What were and everybody's got a different takeaway. This was the success that I saw with the workshop example of Mañana when I did power sports training in person. A dealership would send, an employee for training, and that employee would take 2 or 3 gold nuggets, implement them, and then see a certain amount of growth some way. And then the next year, the successful dealers, they would send, a second person, and that person would get different gold nuggets from the same content, go back and implement different things, and they would see, an extended amount of growth from the first extension, right? And so what you have there is compounded growth based on, different preferences, right? And so got to be careful using the word preferences, won't get into politics here, but that's an interesting term. Anyway, the definition of preferences changed this week in the Webster Dictionary. But in any case, knowing a student's preferences helps you to, again, focus in on what that is that's going to create that growth, that's going to be the thing that helps that individual. That's what good coaches and good trainers can do, right? A coach brings out that information from a student, and then of course a trainer educates in a way that assists that person the best. So people will say, well, how can you do it all online then, Kurt? How can you do it online? By your own admission, it's not going to work. It does work. There's a certain percentage of content which is consistent. As I just said, I could teach the same content to a room of people and they'll pick different things. And that's what happened with Dan Martell's presentation over the last 2 days. I came away with some information about customer point of view. Someone else in the group came away with making decisions based on data. Someone else in the group came away with a gold nugget that was more on like mapping the process from the corporate position rather than from the customer position. Of course, I saw it from the customer position. And so as a group, we debrief this information, and it's, I feel that it's going to give this group the ability to succeed more than it would have without it. So I know that it sounds like I might be talking in a circle on this, but what I'm getting to is when you're doing corporate training, when you have a corporation or a project and you're investing in something, and this is really important for solopreneurs and some of the other businesses I consult with that only have one, possibly two people in it, right? Because they're small startups, is you got to get more eyes to the content. You got to get more feeling, more perception, more input than what you feel is necessary. And that's super, super important. Here's why it's important. Um, you're going to miss it, right? If I went to the SaaS training by myself, I would come away with this idea of, hey, we need to initiate a project that allows us to put forth, like, mapping the process, mapping the steps of growth for the use of our product from the customer's eyes, right? I would come away with that. I would go to this 2 days of training and I would say, man, the number one thing we need to do is, map a process for this. The other guy in the group says, his takeaway would be, mapping a process, but from the corporate standpoint, right? So what do we do with these customers once we get these customers, right? I'm saying I want to teach the customers what to do with our product as they decide to use the product. And then his perception, his point of view would be, what do we do with these customers once we have these customers? How do we get them through our system, right? And then that third point of view that I mentioned, which I thought was pretty insightful, was more like, what do we do with the data? And then it hits you like a ton of bricks. Holy crud. We could pull the data, from the company side, from the customer side, from all these things, use the data and then see, okay, if we had to prioritize projects, the data would tell us which way to go, right? Now, data can be good and data can be bad. And here's where data can be bad. Pardon me. If you focus too much on data, if you're a nerd and you geek out on stuff and you focus too much on data, you might make mechanical decisions, right? Mechanical decisions are sound on paper. They seem to fit the need based on data, right? But you also need to remember that people not only have, the brain, but they have the heart brain, right? Their feelings, their emotions. And so as people work their way through a purchase process, you want to make sure that you are hitting them. Hang on just a second. Hey, buddy, can you hang on just a sec? Perfect. So what you want to do is you want to make sure you hit them in the heart brain and you make them feel reassured as they move forward. And with that, I'm going to take this call. You guys have a great day. Enjoy yourselves, and we will move forward. Have a good one. Bye-bye.